All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Train Sim World 2 live stream. We are on the Peninsula corridor today, and we are going to be doing this limited stop service, service number 228, leaving at 8:14. Limited stop from San Francisco to San Jose. We're going to get in here. We're going to wait a moment and let everybody get in because we're going to cover the setup of the locomotive, and then we'll be underway. Should be about, I think, 5 or 6 stops along the way. We're going to only hit some of the major stops. Oh, all right, perfect. Good morning, Joseph. Yeah, 228. That's the one we're going to do. Good morning, Mick. So let's get in here and get everything set up. And we'll be underway. Anybody who wants to join in or follow this service as well, you're more than welcome to if you've got the route. If you have questions about the route as well, feel free to ask along the way. All right, so let's begin. So let's get the doors unlocked. But we can't do that right away until we do a couple things. One, so we'll get they are open, okay. So we want to, Joseph, if you see this panel, hey Josh, you want to just pop out of your seat. We're going to start here first. We're going to click our generator field on. So we're going to go we're going to actually go control pump first. So we're going to go from right to left. Control pump on. Generator on, engine to run. Okay, so you got to make sure you get those three, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. And then we're going to get we're not going to put our front marker lights on. We'll put our gauge lights on, and then that should be it. Okay. Now the next thing you can do while you're here is you can get your we'll go here to start. That's going to give you power to your generator to power the lights for the passengers, and then you're going to hit the green one. And you switch that to run. So red, green, run. Okay? And then we're going to put you don't have to do this, but I always like to put my ground lights on and my number lights on, if I can find the switch for it. Step lights on. Where's the number lights? Did they take them away? No. All right, let's get back in the chair here. And it's okay, we're going to be a little bit late along the way. Let's get the doors shut in the meantime, just so that they're shut. And then you put the reverser in, go to forward, switch this to passenger, and then you just go ahead and release that. Front lights, cruising, I usually put those on, and we just put a reading light on so when we're in the tunnel everything's lit up. We've got a red up here anyway. Now there's a bit of a glitch. It seems that even if you have the brakes released, you're right around the 0 there is going to remain red for your throttle. That's okay, don't worry about that. So it looks like we're waiting. Yeah, we got a train coming in that's going to cross our path. So we're waiting anyway. It's like trying to start a plane, Mick. Well, it's easy to forget. I would sometimes get in here and forget this, and it's like nothing's moving, and I'm like, oh man, why aren't we going? Maybe the number lights are on here. That's the marker lights. Can't we? There should be a thing to turn on the number lights, I thought. Huh. Okay, well. Let's have a look outside while we're waiting for that. So we've got our, that's our service number right there. Our headlights are all on. Now what you can do, you don't have to. I just usually do it this way. Open this window. Should be able to open a window. What in the world is going on here today? Normally you can. Alright, so we got our green light. Let's get underway. So we're just going to apply a little bit of throttle. Now be careful of your speed here in the coming out of here, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself speeding very easily. So just get the train moving a little bit, and then you're just going to coast it. What I usually like to do is once I get close to 10 miles an hour, I just put it in notch 1, and it just, you know, gradually increases the speed. So we are going to stop off at 22nd Street first. One of the kind of crummiest stations along the route. I think it's just kind of in a really bad location that I've always found, or I've always thought. So, but we're gonna now along the way we're gonna practice our braking and all that. So we're not gonna really get. We're gonna speed up a little bit eventually, but we're not gonna really get up to speed until after we depart 22nd Street and head for Bayshore. Okay. So we're going to skip. It looks like we're stopping primarily, I think, in the northern part of the route, and then we're going to start skipping some stuff, and then we'll eventually be in San Jose. So this is a good way. I think a limited stop route, it's enough stops that you can get some practice with the brakes, and it's a little bit easier to, if you're going to get this route, I would highly recommend getting the MP36, because you get this and then you get the corresponding bi-level cab cars. So yeah, I highly recommend getting that, because A, it's a little bit easier to drive the route. You'll find a little bit more enjoyment with it. With the F40, the F40, the other did the good. God, I forgot how difficult the brakes. That's exactly what I was just getting ready to say, Josh. Most people struggle with the F40 because it has that lap brake system. And so you have to kind of judge your braking distances and all that with that sort of setup. So you have to slow down ahead of time. You have to start slowing down early, and then hopefully you're in a good range as you enter the station, so that when you reapply the brakes, you're going to have enough stopping power and enough distance to slow down and try to get as close to your stop as possible. Or your marker, I should say. Now, if you turn those off, I'll show you the kind of the guide where it'll kind of show you what the expectations are for where you stop. Now, we came out at, we are technically supposed to be over there, but we're going to cross over coming up here. We're going to get up to 25 miles an hour. Now the bad part is that it used to be you could be outside of the train, you could train surf, as we like to call it, but they consider this almost like a tunnel now, so you cannot be outside. So we're going to cross over here, and we're going to cross over one more time. Okay. So we're on the correct track now for this route. Okay, we're going to stay on this side pretty much until we get, and then we'll go into our final spot down there in San Jose. Try to get a little bit of speed. We're going to be okay on time, it looks like. So we got a slight uphill here as we come into 22nd Street. You'll be fine with that. It's we'll start losing a little bit of speed now, and then you put it into initial reduction and start, going, adding a little bit more. This one's kind of sometimes it can be difficult to judge where you're going to start braking at. Some people, like I would always go braking as soon as I come out of the... Okay, and see, we're going to go past our stop point. So I probably should have started braking a little bit earlier. Okay. Now, if you notice, we'll go run out here real quick while we're waiting for the passage to load up. And all the good. So... basically, you want to nail your stops. I believe it was like either somewhere around here. Okay. So you want to be able to nail your stops right about there. I've got used to it now. Okay. Well, we're going to still do it, Joseph. I'm not going to stop the service, so it's okay. We're going to keep on keeping on, whatever you want to call it. So, that way, if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to ask them. Let's get the doors shut. Oh, we got about under 30 seconds to get going here. So we'll be on our way. Why are the brake? Well, it's not that they're so bad. It's just figuring out your braking distance and knowing when to start slowing down. Now, it'll be kind of easier to show, like once we get onto the main, once we get going here, then you'll see kind of what I'm talking about, what I usually do is about 0.7 miles from our destination, that's when I start slowing down, because otherwise, if you don't, you're going to start... you can easily blow past your station. When they were doing the Boston Providence preview, I think Matt said you can use the exterior camera in most, if not all, the tunnels. Yeah, see here, for whatever reason, they've not engaged or enabled that for this route. But yeah, I kind of miss having that. Or what I used to do is I would have my head out the window, kind of thing, and that's how I normally played until I started coming out here and surf on the top of the train. I got really good at, because I think that's what most engineers do. They're kind of looking out the window. They've got, they can use the controls, and they're kind of judging. So we're picking up speed, and then there'll be another tunnel, and as soon as we come out that tunnel there, we're going to go off the route, the main route, just a smidge, right there, and that's our stop, because that leaves those lines free for other traffic while we're stopped over there at Bayshore. Okay. Hello, Milla. So yeah, it's just like any other trains. It just takes some practice getting used to knowing when you're going to slow down, applying the brakes, at the right time, and but you'll get it. It's not too bad. Alright, so we got one more tunnel after this, and that's just on the before we come into Bayshore. That's good, Josh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it, like being forced in the cab. I like being able to kind of be outside when I want to be. Or I think they're changing it where now you can, with the camera, you can basically have the what do you call it? Your head out the window there, the side camera basically. Alright, so we're going to slow down for the 65 because we're going to come off here. Wow, then it went even lower than that. It went down to 50. So all right. We're still going to be on time here at Bayshore. So, yeah, you want to try to get a nice, gentle stop here. I'm not quite nailed it, but that's okay. We're pretty close. So yeah, this is our spot B6 is that should be our marker for most of the route, if I remember correctly. So if you don't have your stop marker on, that's not the first one, because there's another one here. You want the 6. Okay. But we'll double check those along the way. How about that? Just so we make sure. Alright, brakes off. I always go right to notch 8 only because then you start gaining your speed right away. Otherwise it's like it takes forever. If you kind of just coast out there, go to notch 1 or 2 or 3 or something just to get the train moving, you'll never make your stations on time. So I always go notch 8 right away, and yeah. So I think Mr. Addy's left the screen. Oh well. Well, we're going to do the service anyway. Then we'll be on at 9 for our Microsoft Flight Simulator. Fly up to Half Moon Bay this morning. So, yeah. Hopefully it'll be a good flight. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm more than happy to try to help out. I can't pretend to know everything about the route, but you know, it's this well, not so much the route, but the locomotive itself. But this one, yeah, I can't stress it enough. If you've got the route, get this train. It's a little bit more simpler to drive. And you'll find a little bit more enjoyment with it. Even the gallery cab car at the other end is the bi-level cab car. Driving that is not a big deal either. The only thing is that you're going to have to, if you want your passenger lights on, you're gonna have to run down to the locomotive to turn on the HEP and everything for the passenger lights, because I can't find a I can't find the switch down there in the bi-level cab car. So yeah, it's just take some practice. Okay, South San Francisco is next, and then San Bruno. I don't know how many stations. This doesn't seem like a limited stop. At some point, we're going to start skipping some stations. Or as it stands, it seems like we're stopping at a lot of the northern bay stations. Because there's some that it's like you skip. You have your northern bay stations, and you have, you know, and then the other time it'll be like you're skipping some of those, and you'll start kind of closer to Midway and then southern stuff, Southern Bay, along the line there. Alright, so we're at about 1.1 miles. We're going to try to get as close to our max speed as possible before we get off the throttle, just so that we maintain our time. So 9, 8, off the throttle. We just start, there we go, start getting some brakes on. Come off just a little bit, so we slowed down pretty well there. So we're right at a good speed. We're gonna as we see the platform coming up here, just put on some initial reduction again. But yeah, they usually recommend coming in at about 25 miles an hour. Maybe 20, 25, depending, you know, if you want to maintain your time. We're going to be on time here. But we're going to go past our stop marker, of course. That's okay. We're not like too terribly, you know. This one we're not going to completely fit on. Okay. For whatever reason, I think yeah, there's at least one car that's always off the tracks here, but the conductors would not allow those doors to, you know, they wouldn't open those doors. So don't think you've done something wrong because this one's not on the platform. Looks like disc brakes there. That is what they are. Yeah. I didn't realize it. Alright, let's get the doors locked. Let's get off the brakes. So that's the other thing you could do too. When you're on a flat ground, get off the brakes, so that way once it gives you that green light to go, you can get on the throttle and go. You're not waiting for the brakes to release. There's another MP36 service. Gonna skip right through here, heading for the city. Alright, San Bruno is next. San Bruno's a bit tricky because generally if we don't stop at South San Francisco, we come along here, we're doing about 79 miles an hour, then you'll see we got to go drop down to 65 as we're going to go up a hill, an incline. So you got to try to maintain your speed, you know, over that, and then you got to stop, you know, it levels off kind of for the station there. So cool. We're gonna. So what you can do is if you're, you know, as you're approaching this, and let's say we were doing 79 miles an hour, you can get off the throttle and let it coast. If you are on the throttle, and then you can basically, you know, you could start bleeding off the speed all on its own, and then you'll definitely bleed off the speed as you go up the incline there. So we're going to get off the throttle now. So already we're on a slight incline. Gravity should start taking over. There we go. All right, let's get on the brakes as well. So that gravity will help because now we're going up a larger incline. We get on the brakes, and then it should just kind of will be fine. Get off the brake. Let gravity still do its thing. Get back on the brake, and that levels off, and then as soon as right here we're passing the 79, so as soon as we leave we'll go back up to 79 miles an hour. Much better stop there. All right. We made it just in time, so we'll get our full 500 action points for the that is. Let's get the doors locked, get off the brakes. Alright. Notch 8 right away. Millbrae is next. And then we have Burlingame. Well, hope everybody's having a nice Monday morning, nearly afternoon. So Millbrae, of course, big hub here for the Bay Area. You got the BART station going towards the airport. You got, of course, that comes from San Francisco. This was an extension that was added on to try to encourage people to take the BART train to the airport versus driving and and all that. But if you live in the South Bay and you're flying out of San Francisco, you can take the Caltrain to Millbrae, and you can catch the BART train there if you feel it necessary. So we should be on time here for Millbrae. Start getting on the brake here. Slightly inclined as we come into Millbrae, levels off there, and then goes downhill. I kind of feel like this area and the station and everything was kind of revitalized with the introduction of the BART system into San Francisco International. Flight path working to go through the markers. Oh, nice, Mick. Yeah, I thought about that after our stream ended the other day. I was going to go over that because I think I figured out how I got those to show up. It was a setting in the... Oh, everybody's all on the platform. Yay, good for us. Another northbound service. Quite a bit of traffic on here this morning. Hello, Joseph. Welcome back. Alright, let's get the doors shut and get off the brakes. Yeah, I kind of feel like this area was kind of like, but with they had to redesign the station a little bit, and with the addition of the BART train system over there. Now this does look like, in real life, when I was here on this route a month or so ago, that this is like a station actually. So I don't know when it would be used. That's all. I'm getting used to it. Well, that's good. Well, stick around if you want. If not, that's fine. If you got any questions, let me know. I'm glad to help out. So Burlingame and then San Mateo. Now the other thing too, for this timetable, you'll notice it'll say like all stop service. There's one station that I am 99.9% positive. Well, actually, I'm 100% positive on any all stop service. You are not going to stop at Stanford. It's like one of those special stations on the route that probably only gets used during Stanford football season. I think. I've never seen any trains stop there, though. So the only time I would think would be if there's a big football game, especially if it's like Cal State Berkeley versus Stanford, which is a huge game. That would probably be the time that they would use that station. Because people from Berkeley could take the BART train from Berkeley to Millbrae and then take the train down. So... just screwing up the land, is currently doing a 2,000-mile flight. Oh, nice, Mick. Alright, we gotta get off the throttle here. We gotta get on the brakes. We don't want to go blowing through the station. I'm glad to hear it, Joseph. It's a nice route. It's a nice, this train in particular, it's much easier. You find more enjoyment on this route with this locomotive than the F40. Now the F40, you know, if you just practice at it, you know, it can be a lot of fun as well. All right. We're on time there. So far, we've been on time for all of our stops. We've just not been nailing our stops too well. Yeah, there is. You're right, Josh. I put the piloting to medium, and I feel it works for me. Oh, okay. That's what I. So it's kind of like a in between where you can have some sort of assistance if you need it, but otherwise it's all up to you. That's what I kind of thought. That was what I stubbed my toe badly before heading to bed. Oh, Mella, I don't know about you. Eat some croissants, you'll feel better. So yeah, so Joseph, what you need to do is when you're ready to go, so try to get the brakes off as early as possible, as long as you're not going to roll backwards. So like say we got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Release rest of the way. We're going to roll back just a tad, probably. Go to notch 8 right away. Don't wait. Don't just go like notch 2 or 3. Just go right. Go hit the full throttle right off the bat, because that's the only way you're going to build up your speed. Okay, as quickly as possible. That's the important key. Don't just dilly around and go like, oh, I'll go notch 3 and just kind of slowly. Nope, go notch 8 right away, and you'll be fine. Part of it too is trusting your braking. So like if you see a reduction in speed, you know, if you miss it a little bit, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But, you know, like when I first played Train Sim World 2020, I was like, I'd see that 79 and I'm like, but I'm going 85 right now, but, or, you know, like, oh, I'm close to 79, but I'm just going to go ahead and get off the throttle now. And no, just trust your training, I guess, sort of thing. You know, trust yourself a little bit more. If you mess up, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You know, I'm not hitting my markers right now, and that's okay. You know. All right, San Mateo, and then Hayward Park. But the key is to always just, you know, if you're just go out notch 8 right away, and you'll start keeping your speed, and you'll keep your time a little bit better, or you'll arrive with plenty of time to spare. So that way, that gives you a moment to kind of, you know, think about your next stop. And Oh, we're gonna nail this stop. Look at that, finally. San Mateo. I put it onto the fastest speed. So you go notch 8 right as soon as you're able to go leave the station. Why wouldn't you? Huh, I don't know. It's always worked for me. The only other thing I could think of is you're braking a little too early. Possibly. And then you gotta like speed back up to get to the station. Or you're crawling in so slow that you're I mean, I don't know. That's the only things I could think of. Either you're braking early, or you're too early, or you're so slow going into the station that the time's just ticking away. Hayward Park, then Hillsdale. Hillsdale with the newly redesigned elevated station, which completely threw me for a loop when I was on the route. I was like, "What? Is this a new?" Nope. If you Google it, it'll tell you the whole story basically. I better get on the brakes myself. But you'll get there, Joseph. Just keep practicing at it, and eventually you'll be on time. If you're a little bit late, it's fine. I mean, I sometimes I think I'm going to be late on the route, and I'm not, and I'm just like, how did I maintain my time? But you know. Start me up. Okay. Alrighty then. There goes the F40 with the Nippon Gallery cab cars. Heading towards San Francisco. I feel pretty fortunate that was my last ride on the when I was home on the Peninsula corridor, that I rode on the Nippon Gallery cab cars, because they are the oldest ones on the route, and I really enjoyed those. The aesthetics, I love the aesthetics of the Nippon Gallery cab cars. There's just something about them that is, I don't know, just got it's beautiful. I love that gleaming silver, you know. Hillsdale, then Belmont. Got that lapping sound, or looping, not lapping, looping. I hope that's something they fix too, one day. All right, now this station in particular is kind of tricky. So notice that we're already getting close to our approach, but we never were going to get up to 79 miles an hour. Now we could have stayed on the throttle, but then we run the risk of blowing through our station. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start slowing down now. All right. We'll come right in here. So yeah, this is not the Hillsdale station. That's their present-day Peninsula corridor. This is all still there, but the platforms have, it's not on the to the right of us. It's in the to the left here. So it's a center line platform now. It was I was just so like blown away when we pulled into Hillsdale, and I'm like, what is this? I thought we were already in South San Francisco. I'm like, wait a minute. No, what? Yeah, it threw me for a loop. So, we'll listen to the doors close. Check this out.
The doors are about to close.
Yep, sounds just like that in real life. Belmont, then San Carlos. So Mick, when are you and Pulse going to be on the F1 again? That's the big question of the day. When are we going to see some F1 action? Trying to pull Williams up to the better standing. I still can't. I totally had missed the memo about Claire being fired from the team. I guess that was maybe part of the deal of the money coming in, that she would step down as the team principal. That's a shame. Oh, excellent. What time, Mick? I'll be sure to be there to have a laugh with you guys. Should be at 8, so about 3 o'clock my time. Okay. Oh, so I have some other interesting news to report. Yesterday, in Division 2, my group mates took me through the first raid on the game, the Dark Hours raid, and we completed it. It took us 46 minutes to complete, mainly because I had some questions, and because I tried it a very long time ago, but was never able to complete it, so they kind of walked me through things, and you know, stand over here, do this, you know. Yeah, it was awesome. It truly was, and I couldn't be happier that, you know, they helped me through all that. Yeah, it was incredible. So yeah, had a really great time with that yesterday. So yeah, I'll definitely be there for that, Mick. San Carlos and the beautiful Redwood City. Climate best by government test, as the saying goes. So are you doing ETS or ATS? Maybe Embella should be there to cause all kinds of chaos and destruction. Now the other thing too, if you think about it, because we're close to a lot of the, you know, some of these stations are very close together. So you don't have to get on the brake right away. You can coast for a little bit and then start on your brakes. So that way you're not going to be, but you have to be careful, of course. You don't want to wait too long, but that way you maintain some speed before you start slowing down for the station. If you feel like you're slow too early, then come off the brake and just let it coast for a bit and then come back on to the brake. So we're going to get back on here because we're coming into the station just a little quick here. There we go. That's a good stop right there. This time we like to switch it around a bit. Nice, Mick. Okay. I don't know if Amela could join. She might still be wanted in Europe for failing to pay her debts of destruction. Causing all kinds of accidents and stuff. Alright, let's get the doors closed. Lights are on. I kind of feel like after Redwood City or so, we're gonna go right on down to San Jose. Brakes released. And away we go. I do love the sound of that thing when you go full throttle. It just... Of course, they don't do that in real life. It's like they release the brakes and they're like at notch 1 until they're clear of the station, kind of. and then they start building up the speed. But yeah, well, we'd never be on time if we did that. But that's okay. Hey, that is what our stream is all about. If nothing happens on stream, there's something wrong. Yep. Yep. Get lost, get turned around, take the wrong exit. Speeding. No, I know you guys don't do that. I know you guys don't speed. You try to watch your... Yeah, because otherwise you're losing money. You know? You need that income coming in the game, so you can buy better trucks and stuff. Palo Alto after Redwood City. My lovely Palo Alto. I miss Palo Alto. I wish I could afford to live in Palo Alto. I'd like to have just like a one-bedroom apartment there. You know, nothing fancy or whatever, just a nice one-bedroom place, and you know, right near all the little restaurants and stuff. All right, let's get on the brakes here. That Borders Books and Music, though, that it used to have there. Oh, I wish Borders hadn't gone out of business. That was such a nice place to go hang out at. It was an old theater. I know I've told this story before, but I love reminiscing about it. Alright, coming into Redwood City. There's our archway. Yeah, it was such a nice place to go hang out. Oh, we got a nice stop here in Redwood City too. Look at that. That's 2 stops nailed in a row. With a nice little office / games room. Ah. Nice. Yeah. I always think maybe one day if I ever won the lottery, I'd have a dedicated room for gaming with a nice PC setup and big TV for the console, and yeah. All right, let's get off the brakes. Doors are closed. Let's go. The lovely Palo Alto is next. Yeah, that would be. Well, then I would have to have a 2-bedroom. But yeah, I would love to have. That was like one of those dream kind of places that, you know, if you could afford it, to live there in Palo Alto. Kind of like when I lived in Mountain View. You know, I loved living there as well, but there was something a little bit more magical about Palo Alto. You know, Mountain View was nice, but Palo Alto just had something, I don't know, maybe because of the college, you know, for Stanford University or something. I don't know. But yeah, when I used to work for the company that was technically in Menlo Park / East Palo Alto, we used to go into Palo Alto proper for our lunch break or whatever, because we worked like a evening shift, so we would run over to Palo Alto sometimes to get get lunch or dinner, basically. There's plenty of pizza places, other little restaurants, and yeah, love that. And I briefly dated a woman who owned a Japanese restaurant in Palo Alto. Lots of fond memories of the Bay Area. Wow, got that looping sound. Come off the throttle just a bit. Yeah, I would like to have that big. Yeah, that would be ideal. Have a nice surround sound theater system there. Big comfy chair for gaming. Or watching movies. Alright, let's get back on the throttle here. We're skipping a few stations here. So Palo Alto, we're going to skip everything to Santa Clara. That's a lot of stations. We're going to pass by Mountain View and some other stuff, and then we'll be into San Jose after we stop at Santa Clara. I think we stopped there and then we... Alright, we gotta get on the brakes here quickly. I love this bridge right here too. They don't make those anymore, like that anymore. Back when things were built to last. Alright, we're just going to coast on in. We should be on time. So, over... that away. Trying to figure. Okay, there, right there. So yeah, if you follow that road, that takes you to Stanford University. Not a superb stop, but pretty darn good otherwise. So yeah, you go this way. That'll take you to Stanford University. Downtown Palo Alto is right that way. Yeah, I miss it. How often are the trains on this route? I don't know anymore because I kind of feel like the timetable was significantly reduced during COVID, and they don't probably run as many services as they used to. So it's hard to say. I don't know if there's a... I'm sure if you go to the Caltrain website, it would say for sure how often the trains run. I'm sure there's still like peak hours, you know, like the commuter hours in the morning for people either going up to the city or going to the South Bay for meetings and stuff. So it's kind of hard to say. But, I mean, I kind of feel like there was regular traffic, but I couldn't say for sure how often. Like, the route seemed a little bit dead, but not like super, like, okay, there's only like 3 trains a day or something like that. It's kind of hard to say. I think because there was a lot of, if I remember, either last year or early this year, there was a lot of angst about whether or not the Caltrain was going to survive as a entity. Not Caltrain, but the 3 counties who operate the joint commission, or whatever you want to call it, the joint agreement that operates this line, whether or not they were going to be able to afford to keep the route. Like they were in financial straits, dire financial problems, just like everybody else was. So I think they had to get some bond measures just to stay afloat. But I've been on these trains when it's packed, like it's full of people, and the times that I rode, it wasn't never really full. So part of that, I think, is due to the fact that some people who work in the tech industry can work from home and have opted for that, regardless if they're able to return to the office or not. They may go to the office one day out of the week for meetings, but the rest of the time they're going to stay home and do their stuff from home. So yeah, which is unfortunate because it's really cut into the money that Caltrain was making. And now with the cost of the electrification has gone up fairly significantly, from what I understand. The taxpayers are going to end up footing that bill, because it's a long route to cover. It looks like big communities there. Yeah, so a lot of people, either worked, they work in Silicon Valley, like the southern part of this route. That's what they consider Silicon Valley, but Silicon Valley is spread essentially from the San Jose, Sunnyvale area up the line to San Francisco. So as companies grew and they needed more space, they were like, oh, we're going to put a office up here now. And some of that has worked out rather well, and other times it turns into a big flop, and then you have all these huge office buildings that are sitting there being unused. Yeah, but back in the day, I mean, it was very regular services. You had baby bullet services. I'm almost certain that at some point they used to have like a you would stop maybe a couple of places, but you would go from San Francisco, maybe make 2 stops, and you would get to San Jose. But yeah, because it does go, the line doesn't terminate at San Jose Dearden. It goes, there's another Tiananmen station, and then on into Gilroy. So people who were looking for affordable housing, Gilroy was one of those places, and they could take the train from Gilroy to work in San Francisco if they wanted, or even to San Jose or Sunnyvale. But I think, with COVID and a lot of people being forced to work from home, they had to do that. Give me just a second. I got to take this phone call. Sorry about that. Boy, getting a lot of this looping sound. Alright, there's Mountain View. Alright, so yeah, Santa Clara and then San Jose Dearden. Yeah, I just think that that's going to be the new norm now, is a lot of these people are just going to continue to work from home, and, you know, they're okay with that. So there's a light rail system. Of course, it's missing the overhead wires. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to impact you know, because a lot of money is being invested in the electrification of the route to combat the use of these diesel locomotives and the emissions and everything. So even after they go through all of this stuff to get the line electrified, how many people are going to use it? You know, because even if we kind of go back to some semblance of normal, I think people are just going to be like, I'm fine working from home. I don't want to go to the office anymore. You can't make me go. You know, they feel safer in their apartment or their house, and nothing's going to change their mind, I think. Which, you know, there's some lean times ahead for Peninsula Corridor, I think, and Bay Area transportation in general. I mean, I think it will affect the Bay Area rapid transit system. I mean, some people will still use that, but by and large, you know, it wasn't like the days that I recall that even at the times that I would ride in the afternoon, for instance, that the trains were fairly empty. I didn't have to stand. You know, I could find a seat. And I kind of wonder if that's how it was for commuter time, you know. So yeah, I think the times are going to be lean for BART, and they've just invested in all these new Bombardier BART trains, which look really nice. And yeah. Oh, there goes a service that we kind of did the other day, taking the ballast up there. Yeah, it's I don't know. There goes a F40 service. The only people that may use it possibly is if people go to the Giants games, taking the train up to the city to go to the San Francisco Giants games, or from the North Bay coming down here to Santa Clara, because the 49ers moved their stadium down here to Santa Clara. So that might be their only time that they're going to make any decent amount of money, is during those, you know, like football season or whatever. But that's even if people feel like going to a baseball game or a football game, or, you know, yeah, it's hard to say. But either way, I'm glad I got at least one more ride on the Peninsula Corridor before things got crazy or whatever. And things got either shut down or you know, they cut their amount of services, or yeah, it's unfortunate. But I mean, if I, in all honesty, if I have the means again in the near future, I'd definitely like to go back and do a proper filming of the Peninsula corridor. I'd have to use my regular video camera since Twitch was not so helpful in my efforts to film while I was on the yeah, baseball is fun. It's a lot of people find it to be rather boring. I don't like, if you had a good pitcher's duel, you know, or you know, somebody's got a hot bat and you know, it's up to the pitcher to see if they can kind of cool that bat off, and yeah, but it's just the atmosphere of it. That's what I miss, you know. You have all these people in this stadium, and they're, you know, there's just something great about it, something magical. And, you know, you got people from all walks of life. You're either cheering for the same team, or you're just a fan of baseball in general. And yeah, I miss that, you know. But I was fortunate, you know, the years that Barry Bonds played, and you know, when he was in the home run race and all that. It was great. Well, when he was hitting home runs, like it was just nobody's business. Those were great times, you know. And people were there just to watch him hit. And you know, I didn't care if he was juiced or not. It was exciting. You know. But anyways. Alright, we got one more stop to make, and then we are done. And we'll be back on at 9 o'clock for our Microsoft Flight Simulator. We'll be going there from Watsonville to Half Moon Bay. See, that's interesting that they put the stop way down there. Normally we stop here. We still fit on the... Everybody fits on the platform. Interesting. Alright, let's get the door shut, and we're just waiting. Do we have another service behind us? It's like going faster. I don't see anybody. It's going to catch up to us before. So, yeah, we should be able to go right on. We should be able to depart here as soon as we're... we get the green light. Yeah, we'll be taking that flight from Watsonville up to Half Moon Bay. Not sure how long that'll take. We'll figure it out once we get in there. I may change that to medium, now that I think about it. Maybe that's the problem, like you said, Mick. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do that before we fly today. And hopefully we have a much smoother flight. And the AI co-pilot, whatever, doesn't doesn't start acting like a fool. So, we'll give that a shot. The crowd looked so laid back, enjoying beer and food, and also with their phones out. Yeah. But see, that was one of the blessings, I think, when I'd go to sporting events, especially back in the day, before everybody had cell phones. You were really more engaged with your fellow fans and all that. You just talked to all sorts of people, and that was the... All right, there's our green light. 2.5 miles of San Jose. So we are coming to the end. Piling. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And we'll take our chances there. Because I tell you what, when I land, and even if it's a bit of a bumpy landing, I'd rather be able to steer the plane to our parking spot and all that kind of stuff. So I miss the days of, Mick, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. The days prior to cell phones and all that your time was your time. If you were at a football match or a whatever, you had a sense of your own, your time was your time. And it was probably valued more than it is today. All right, here we are by the maintenance facility. I was in the Army prior to everybody having cell phones, and so your time off. Hey, if you weren't in your barracks room on the weekends, well, hey, that's okay. You were out having fun and experiencing Germany. Hey, that's okay. But the second time around, it was like everybody, it didn't matter where you were. If they called you on the phone, you better darn well answer, or you would never hear the end of it. Oh, a little bit of leg coming into San Jose. That's a little bit disappointing, to be honest. I can't wait for this core update, because this shouldn't be happening at this point. Not on the next gen console. But yeah, I think that's the thing, is that, people feel that they can encroach upon your time whenever they want to, because they can just pick up a cell phone and call you on your cell phone, or they can message you repeatedly or whatever. So it's definitely given people a less sense of their own time. Like their time is not theirs. There's the Sharks Arena, where the NHL hockey team San Jose Sharks play. Would leave the front door open without any worry. Who was coming in? Yep, exactly. Ooh, I'm speeding. Oops, a daisy. I knew there was a reduction in speed there, and I just totally blew it off. Oops. That was bad of me to do that. Yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate. I mean, yesterday I walked over to Walmart and I thought about leaving my cell phone here, but then I thought, well, what if, you know, what if it's an emergency phone call, you know? What if, you know, it's something I have to know about and I'm not there, you know? So yeah, now you're almost afraid of not taking your cell phone with you. All right, we are on time here at San Jose. Plenty of time. Get our passengers closed. I think we closed the door. I don't remember. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I never remember. Yep. There we go. And there it is. That should have been good enough for a gold medal, I believe, if we were going to get another one. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. I will see you all in about an hour on Microsoft Flight Simulator. We'll be doing that flight from Watsonville up to Half Moon Bay. Should be a nice, beautiful morning flight with the sunrise, and we should be going kind of up the coast there. So should be a nice, chilled, relaxing flight, and we'll try to get rid of that numpty co-pilot, and we'll go from there. So anyway, take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in about an hour. All right, take care. Bye.